Heading towards free agency, nobody knows how the rest of the league will assess Sheldon Richardson's market value, but he's only 27 years old and he holds up really well against the run. Compared to his college days at Missouri, he does a better job of setting up an anchor against bigger offensive linemen. On this one, he throws the guard like a rag doll, then makes the play on Todd Gurley. As his career has progressed, Sheldon Richardson's been able to evolve in terms of being a hand technician. He does a better job than he did early in his career with the Jets of getting off blocks quickly. Against San Francisco, Richardson does a nice job winning the hand-fighting battle, rips inside, and brings down Carlos Hyde. While his ability to be a hand technician has improved dramatically since his rookie year, Richardson's calling card is still his athleticism. Few defensive tackles have as explosive of a first step off the snap as Richardson brings to the table. Here he makes himself narrow, splits two oncoming blockers, and then gets the running back for a 4-yard loss. Another great example of Richardson's explosiveness came against Arizona. This was one of his 2 or 3 best games as a Seahawk in 2017. He was consistently in the backfield all night long. Here he gets through the gap so quickly the Cardinals can't execute a down block. Records another tackle for loss. Now looking at my favorite example from the entire season, I was at the game against the Houston Texans. He absolutely demolished Lamar Miller on this play. Richardson quickly cross-faces the guard, explodes through the A-gap, and then wraps up Miller right after the handoff, gets him at the line of scrimmage for a huge stop. Looking at a couple other run stops that stood out from the 2017 season, against Jacksonville, this is a great example of how well Richardson plays the run down the line. Leonard Fournette is trying to run the ball to the right. When he tries to make the cutback, Richardson's there waiting for him, maintaining his gap integrity. Similarly, against Green Bay, Richardson's going to quickly shoot the B gap. Richardson's going to cut right off his butt and fly down the line of scrimmage. Just like on the last play, Montgomery's going to try to cut it back against the grain after the Seahawks do a nice job stuffing the original hole. He goes right into the hands of Sheldon Richardson for the tackle. Now I want to take a few plays to highlight Sheldon Richardson's top speed as well as the effort he brings to the table. There was a lot of rumblings when he played for the Jets that he took plays off. I didn't see that on film very often with the Seahawks. He really plays with a high motor. Look how much ground Sheldon Richardson makes up on this play to tackle Ezekiel Elliott. He really can run sideline to sideline. Not many 295-pound defensive tackles can do that. On this play, you can see his athleticism at work again. Matthews is going to try to make a cut block on this run. Richardson's going to go right over the top of it. An ineffective block. He makes the tackle on Ward. In regards to overall effort, one play stood out to me from all 16 games that I watched. Going against Houston, the Seahawks are running a twist on the outside with Clark and Richardson. He's initially going to get stalled by 2 different blockers, but he sticks with the play, and after Watson breaks an initial tackle, he makes a hit to force the incomplete pass. Richardson plays with a relentless motor, but he's also an instinctual football player. Against the LA Rams, one of his finer games, he had 2 turnovers he created in this game. On the first one, after initially getting downfield, Richardson immediately snuffs out the screen, gets over to Todd Gurley. After the pass falls off his hands, Richardson shows the hand-eye coordination to make the interception. Huge turnover for Seattle. Then later in the game, Frank Clark is going to come flying off the edge. He's pinned his ears back at the 7-tech. He gets around the corner against left tackle Andrew Whitworth and forces the fumble. Richardson scoops up the fumble, and then look at the big fella run like a running back, trying to go for the end zone. Not quite enough speed, but just a great athlete for a 295-pounder. To highlight another reason why Seattle might want to extend Sheldon Richardson, the versatility that he brings to the table. He can play all 4 spots along the defensive line. You can slide him anywhere. He also has enough athleticism to drop into coverage occasionally. He did this a lot in college. He does a great job sticking with running back Shane Vereen flying out of the backfield. Not something you would do frequently, but it does give you some flexibility on defense. Surprisingly, though, Seattle didn't take full advantage of his athleticism in the pass rushing department. They relied too much on their twist stunt game, and that prevents Richardson from being able to use that explosive first step that we talked about on earlier clips. There's nothing wrong with running an occasional stunt, but Richardson seems to be at his best when he's able to attack the gap immediately with that explosive first step. He can be a nightmare to block running through the B gap and being a single gap player. Even with 2 guys on him, watch as he splits this. He doesn't get the sack, but he forces Brissett to move up in the pocket, and then teammates come in and help out. Nas Jones cleans it up. Though he's not the biggest defensive lineman out there, Richardson plays at a strong 295 pounds and has the ability to bull rush tackles and guards. Here he's going to drive the guard for Tennessee straight back into the backfield. He forces Mariota to sidestep over, incomplete pass. It's easy to be critical when Richardson's only recorded 2.5 sacks combined the last 2 seasons. However, film doesn't suggest that he's not capable at this point. He had a lot of plays where he got very close to getting sacks like this one. Vicious swim move, gets into the backfield just a little late on Drew Stanton. The inability to finish plays like that hurt his production overall and might actually drive his market price down a little bit. His lack of pass rushing stats the last few years might drive away several suitors. If Seattle can get him in that $10 million range though, plays like this give you reason to believe he's going to have more sacks next season.